Christmas brought so much joy. Couldn't wait for the presents and laughter. I couldn't sleep late at night, looking for Santa with lights. Those are the memories I still remember. Then I became a man, lost sight of who I am. But right in front of me was the answer. 'Cause on Christmas I feel joy, and I turn back to a boy. The answer is to stay young forever. This is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song.
Hello, Star Wars fans. You know, there's 116 days until Christmas Eve 2024. It's good to see you all here today. I saw Risman in there poking the bear. First chat of the stream, right in there poking the bear. You know, there is a bit of controversy going around regarding Amanda and some things that she has said. And I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time talking on that, but let me just go through our introductions. And Matt, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Oh my goodness. We'll talk about some things. Skywalker's Academy. Hello. Hope all is well going for you too, my friend. And I saw we had Kieran's in here. Good to see you, Fitz. And Mike Yaney. Hello. Sabersmith. Hello. Good to see you as well. We've got some news to catch up on this week. And you know, there's one really good story. I think it's a fun story. Star Wars Meg covered it just a couple days ago. And I'm really, really looking forward to you guys really looking forward to talking about that poem that was decoded from Ahsoka season 1. So we're going to save that story till very, very last. But there's a lot of things to talk about. And let me just start with this story. Well, hold on. I always forget this part, right? We have a Patreon. We have lots of content that I've been posting to Patreon lately. And that is the best way to support this channel. And you could join there. You get 1 week for free if you decide you would like to do that. And beyond that, we have a ton of content. I just did an interview yesterday with John Justice. He has a YouTube channel called My Nerd World, and he does a podcast actually called My Nerd World. He's also an author. He has written a series of books called Embark. There's 7 of them total, inspired by George Lucas and Star Wars, but set in the future here on Earth, where people have kind of moved away from driving in cars to flying vehicles. So those are great books. I'm reading those. And thank you, Matt. I appreciate it. Fitz says, I've been about half of your interview with John so far. A great interview. Well done. Thank you. And yes, here's the link to our Patreon. Thank you for posting that, Matt. This is a great way to support the channel, and you can see these things. Oh, I see Sabersmith. You got a chance to see the interview as well. Listen to it twice. Oh, that's great. Thank you so much. That means a ton. I really appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate all the support. And like Dale did, you can get the Patreon link just by typing the command, and Streamlabs will give it to you. There's several commands built in there, but good to see you guys. Real Ben, we've been chatting. We had a really good discussion online, and it's one of the things we'll talk about just a little bit today as well. It says there's a ton of Santa Patreon content. He buried me under all of it. Imperial activity. Thank you for that. Many of you know him formerly as Rural Farm Boy. Good to see you here. And so, you guys, look, let me just show you. Yes, in the new season of Rings of Power is out. I'm going to try to get started on that this weekend as well. So, our Patreon, there's a ton of content out here. As Rural Farm Boy or Imperial Activity pointed, look, if you go to the library and you just scroll down, here's the interview I did with John Justice. And then after that, we have tons and tons of content. You can see each of these videos. I try to keep them somewhat short, under 20 minutes for the most part. But you can see there's 204 videos or pieces of content there on Patreon that are exclusive to Patreon. So you can come in there. Risman, I tell you what, where's Jerry Seinfeld? I'll pay the dude. I just need he's always poking the bear. And he's a great guy. So we have a lot to talk about as far as content goes. And I thought we'd start with some news from Bespin Bulletin posted last Friday, right after our show in the afternoon here, late evening for him. He posted the stories that Lucasfilm reportedly has multiple unannounced Star Wars TV series in development. So let me ask you guys, Risman says, this is not a season 2 Christmas song. Yeah, in the Oshamir. Many of you know I enjoyed the Acolyte for the most part. There are parts that I just did not like, and the part that I disliked the second most is Oshamir. Right, Osha and Chimere in a relationship. I hate it. I hate it so much. It's terrible. I am not a frenemies kind of guy, or what do they call that? It's enemies to lovers, E2L, enemies to lovers. Oh, don't like it. Don't like it at all. However, the one thing I like more, or dislike, actually more than Oshamir, is that daggone song at the end of episode 3. Oh, Power of 1, Power of 2. That's terrible. But you take that part out. I enjoyed the show. It was a lot of fun. It was great. I would very much enjoy a season 2. And I'd say the rewatch of the series, once I knew that the problem in the Acolyte was Soul, that it was his selfishness that kind of led to all the things. And I rewatched it with that. I was able to see it more clearly, and the show landed even better for me. I would be absolutely up for a season 2, but the question then comes to, what are these shows that are in development? And let's get into Bespin's article here, because he covers it. He says, we've got Skeleton Crew coming up. We've got Andor season 2 coming up. And we've got Ahsoka season 2 in the works. But it says Jeff Snyder of The Insider revealed that Lucasfilm have several new shows that simply haven't been announced in development. It says Snyder provided no insight as to what these shows are, but hearing Lucasfilm are hard at work on the TV side of things will likely delight fans amid Disney's focusing their efforts on theatrical releases, switching their focus from Disney Plus, which was the company's priority for a handful of years. Oh, so what are these shows? I don't know. And I specifically went back and I asked Bespin, any chance some of these shows in work are animation shows. Because I personally am aware of several animation shows that they've been working on that have not been announced. I've got several of them listed. I know what they are. Some of them I have some very basic information about. So I asked him if any of those shows are the ones that I knew about. And he said, probably not, Santa. Probably not. Jeff Snyder focuses on live action stuff. I primarily know about animation stuff that's in the works. So, no, very, very little chance that these projects in the works are animated projects. So, if they are working on, hey, Matt Cave Gaming, good to see you. You know what? This guy here, he's got a good channel. He's a really good dude. And again, we don't exactly run in the same circles, but I like this guy a lot. So if you guys haven't seen Matt Cave Gaming, go check him out. Check his channel out. He's definitely someone worth supporting if that kind of content is something you're after. Nerd Mafia, there's a good friend of mine. Stopped and said hi to me over in Northeast Ohio a couple of weeks ago. I hope this means we're not going to get any announcement until Celebration. That's such a long wait. That's my fear, Ben, because the works that I'm aware of, they could announce those anytime. You guys remember how Tales of the Empire were just sort of sprung on us? Like nobody knew Tales of the Empire was in the works. I had never heard of it. I've been aware of several animation projects, and I was aware of some back at the time when that came out. But before that, I was completely unaware of Tales of the Empire. And then they just dropped the announcement like that, and boom, we got Tales of the Empire. So could they do something like that between now and Celebration? I hope so. I hope so. But I think some of the announcements that I'm aware of will probably not come out until Celebration. And the pause there was because I'm filtering in my head what I'm allowed to say, right? There's some things I just can't say. So that's the thing, right? Yeah, I have some tea. I'm aware of some information. I just can't share it, and I'm trying to be very careful with what I share with you guys. I want to be as honest as I can. Hey, looky there, Matt K just upgraded his membership. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Wonderful, wonderful guy. So, what other things could they be working on? What other projects could they be working on? Live action. That Daryl the Derelict. There's another dude I haven't seen in some time. Oh my goodness, we've got all the folks stopping in to say hi. I've accepted the fact you can't say, but I'm still screaming. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Sabersmith. Hopefully, I'm teasing just enough to give you excitement, not just frustration. So I hope that you're excited about some of the things that's coming. What would you hope for? Live action, and let's be realistic, right? Let's not go off the edge. There was some talk that Keanu Reeves had been in talk with Lucasfilm. In fact, Keanu at some point was eyed to play Chimere, and his schedule did not allow it. It's not like Keanu said, nope, not going to do it. I can't, you guys suck, anything like that. He didn't do any of that. He was just, his schedule would not allow it. So for a live action series, just something, do you think that they would maybe have Keanu in a live action series of some sort? or do you think maybe he'll be coming in for a movie? And I'm really speculating about what kind of live action series might we get. Do I think that this kind of pseudo transition more towards Dave's vision seems like what's left is mostly his connected projects, Mandoverse projects. Yeah, if you look, Skeleton Crew and Ahsoka 2 are both Mandoverse projects. The Mando Grogu movie, Mandoverse. So all of that is in that time era. We're going to talk about another story here in just a moment that, Ben, I think will tie into some of your questions. So let's get. Yes, we could get a Darth Plagueis series that focuses mostly on Palpatine. Yeah, that you know how we saw Plagueis like for 3 seconds in the Acolyte season 1. We could have Darth Plagueis series, and basically we get a 3-second snippet of him every 2 or 3 episodes. For a total maybe 15 seconds of total content of Plagueis in the series. It'd be just like reading the book, where most of it's just Palpatine anyway. I exaggerate just a little bit. I'm having fun. We're having fun here. Risman says, I'm hoping the Skeleton Crew is witchless at this point. Yeah. Yeah. I'm sort of with you. At the same time, I wouldn't put a whole lot of financial stakes with there being witches or not, right? 31 months of membership. I hope we get a show or movie that goes deep into the Sith lore. I think being set within the Old Republic era would work well for that. Okay, so Matt, thank you for that comment. Thank you so much for that comment. And I see Daryl saying something about the Vong War from the EU. Thank you for that. Thank you for those comments, because the Old Republic, Knights of the Old Republic, KOTOR, some sort of live action adaptation of that video game has been high on, we'll say, gaming fans for a long time. And Keanu Reeves has been eyed as Darth Revan since forever, right? Do you think that they would actually go into that era to explore somebody like Darth Revan? I think Darth Revan would be a fascinating character, right? With his story arc and where it goes in and out. There would be some complaint. I hesitate because people get so locked into a scene by scene, point by point translation of one content to another content. I'm that way too. When I read a novel, I go back to Jurassic Park because there's a big Jurassic Park announcement that was made. Jurassic Park, the book. You go read that first Jurassic Park book and then watch the movie. And the movie's great. Jurassic Park, the original movie, it's great. I love it. But read the book. The book and the movie contradict to a big part, right? They're not the same. And I feel the same way about a lot of the Harry Potter movies. The books and the movies, they left some critical things out of the books, and then they translated things into the movies to get certain story points told, but did it differently. And I get frustrated at that. I want things to be same, right? Same here, same there. One thing you might have going for you with taking a KOTOR and putting it in live action is the population as a whole, right? We realize movies are the broadest appeal. People around the world will see a movie and they'll never watch a show, read a book, comic, play a game. They'll just go to the movie, watch it, Say, wow, it was fun. And then they leave. They say, do you like Star Wars? They're like, yeah, I love Star Wars. Those movies are great. And that's the only content they ever consume, right? And then we begin to funnel down, right? So it goes from movies to live action, probably to video games and animation. And then you get comic books and novels, after that. So if we were to do a KOTOR, there's a pretty big population of folks who are very familiar with Revan and his story and the whole thing, right? But this group up here are not. And if you took and changed the story, you're going to upset this, tier of fan. But this tier way up here is going, they'd be perfectly fine. So I hesitate on taking anything from a comic, a book, a video game, and translating that into live action. So, yeah, I hear you though. Boy, oh boy, it could be big, but it had to be done right. And how much trust do people have now in Lucasfilm to do something right? That's really a bigger question, isn't it? As far as the Yuzan Vong, I don't know that. I think this, Daryl. I think likely the Yuzan Vong will be a future enemy, not a past enemy. So the Yuzan Vong from the EU and how they were when they interacted and what they did from the EU may be stripped entirely. But I see a potential, and I say that because the Grisk, and if you read the books from the new Thrawn trilogies. There's 2 new Thrawn trilogies. The Grisk are the big bads that kind of precede the prequel era a little bit, and they play through all the way up to the original trilogy era in those books, potentially even up now into the Mandoverse era where Thrawn is coming back into the Mandoverse. The Grisk are there. I don't know that they would go back to put the Grisk or the Yuzan Vong where they are in EU. However, I could see them taking those characters because I think they're setting up some foundation for the Grisk to be introduced through Peridia. And we'll talk about Ahsoka here in a little bit. But Peridia, I think some of the foundational elements for the Grisk may be being established there. And they may be what caused Peridia to go from what it was to what it is, right? Used to be this big empire, the witches, right? It was a strong, thriving community. And now it's like lots of devastation, lots of abandonment. And the Grisk could be a cause of that. And we could see them come out like post-sequel trilogy era. Maybe. I think Yuzan Vong as we know them, though, probably not likely. Anakin, hello! Star Wars Outlaws Collector's Edition on Xbox Series X coming this September. Anakin, that is something that I think Star Wars Meg is looking forward to. I saw where she was complaining she can't play it on her system, and I think it's because she has one or the other. I'm not a gamer, so you guys have to bear with me a little bit. Not exactly sure which system she has, but the other, it's released on one, but not the other, and she's waiting for it to come out on the one she has. Save him for something else. Yes, please. As far as the Acolyte is concerned. Let's see. I got to get caught up with the chat. I've been yammering and haven't even got to the first real big. Well, we're getting caught up, right? We're getting caught up. I'm Matt Cave. I'm excited as well. I said this in my interview with John Justice, and I've mentioned it before. As the Disney era of Lucasfilm, right? Disney Lucasfilm era of Star Wars, I am mostly happy with. And the way that I can say it the best is that every single project, every single piece of content that Lucasfilm has released since the purchase under Disney, I have enjoyed. There are parts of here and there that I don't like. And I mentioned in some of the acolyte, some of the things that I just do not like at all, like 100% do not like. But I'll say everything they've released have given me something to enjoy and have made me happy watching Star Wars. So some parts are frustrating. Some parts I don't like. Other is just as a whole. There's nothing I say that in its entirety made me feel disconnected from Star Wars. And maybe it's because of my history with Attack of the Clones, right? I still have trouble with it, but I'm trying to find ways to connect, right? Revan would be awesome, but I don't think they would use Keanu because that's what the fans want. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. The Old Republic era is too large. Is so large. I feel like they could tell a brand new story there and avoid Revan. Maybe just a reference to it. You know, Matt Cave, I've been thinking about this, and I mentioned it to Jason Ward one time from MakingStarWars.net. Peridia is set up now, and we're going to talk about Peridia again in a minute, but Peridia is set up to set new stories, and this is why I mentioned Yu Zhan Vong, new stories that go all the way back through time and forward in a completely disconnected universe that's still Star Wars, right? We connected to it in Ahsoka. In this series, I mean, that's this universe, galaxy, whatever, that's completely disconnected from the galaxy we know. We don't have to worry about the prequel era, right? We don't have to worry about the Empire. We don't have to worry about anything that we know from the current Star Wars universe timeline. Nothing matters, right? You could put anything over there in that universe. We've only know a little bit about one planet. There could be dozens and dozens of planets there, just like in the universe we know, where you've got Coruscant and Tatooine and on, right? All of those type planets could exist over in Peridia, or, you know, in the galaxy where Peridia is. There could be all kinds of other habitated planets, some with large cities, some desert, some ocean, some, all of that. But the history isn't connected because these two galaxies are so far apart. And there's where you have an opportunity to tell brand new stories with brand new characters that could be fantastic. And you could borrow, like the Yu Zhan Vong from the EU, you can borrow a lot of content from the EU, twist it a little bit, throw it in Peridia, and let it go. It could be great. It could be great. Fits one of the more, one book of Jurassic Park and about 50 movies so far. Yeah. If they keep making money, they're going to keep making them. Yu Zhan Vong War from a long form animated show. Oh, I can't wait to talk about animation. I'd love if they went into the Vonger Grisk in the Daisy Ridley movie. Yes. Imperial says, I'm trolling. Said what I meant. Okay, let's get caught up. Let me get caught up because I want to get into some more stories here. I just think you can't go to the Old Republic without using Revan. I agree with you, Ben, 100%. Old Republic and Revan, how do you disconnect those? I don't think you can. Like you can't, right? All right, I think I'm all, yeah, Coruscant 2. Coruscant 2. Okay, I want to get back to some of these stories here. Let's just bring this back up on the screen. So we talked about these. What stories might come? I'm not sure. Could they be doing live action series in Peridia? I don't know. Could they be doing Old Republic stuff? There's a ton of things that they could be doing in live action, and I'm anxious to hear what they are, curious to hear what they are. And you had the comment earlier, could this be following Dave's direction? And I know I'm a broken record on this, but he created Peridia with Ahsoka, season 1. He created that planet, that galaxy. And I think that he could be planning all kinds of content for there. Oh, and it could be exciting. Oh, it could be super, super exciting. So let's hope for that. There's another story here. And this is the other one that I mentioned. It says Kathleen Kennedy will reportedly remain as Lucasfilm president until at least Q2 of 2025. At least. Yeah, I don't. And this is why I mentioned trust. Do people trust Lucasfilm to create something using some beloved characters like Revan, right? Do people trust Lucasfilm to create something that would represent the Yuuzhan Vong in a meaningful way that's true to Star Wars, right? And a lot of people put blame upon Kathleen Kennedy directly for many of the decisions made. And I'm going to say it's not unfair to do so, right? You remember the buck stops here kind of thing? At some point, if something's wrong, I don't think she's ever involved in the creative process. I don't think she's interfering with, I want this story told or I want that story told. But she is picking writers, directors, or greenlighting writers and directors who have visions that she finds. Hey, Daryl, I just saw back to work. Hey, have a wonderful Labor Day holiday. I hope you have a great 3-day weekend. You get some time off work, Daryl. Thanks for stopping in. Great to see you. But I think a lot of people put a lot of creative missteps on Kathleen Kennedy's doorstep. I think at the end of the day, the buck stops here, and she has to accept some responsibility for some of those things. But I also want to talk about a lot of things that she's blamed about are not necessarily directly her call, right? And I think that she is more of a business head than a creative head. When she leaves Lucasfilm, I think we are unlikely to see a creative, I mean like a John or Dave, promoted to be the new president of Lucasfilm. There's this other lady, Lin Wen, who is, her title now is president and then comma business management or business manager. She oversees all of Lucasfilm, like Industrial Light and Magic, animation, movies, live action. This Lin Wen, she already has a title of president and something else. It's not that she's co-president with Kathleen Kennedy, but I just want to plant the seed that when Kathleen Kennedy leaves, we're very likely to see Lin Wen, I think Lin Wen, whatever, put in that position, at least for a time. Perhaps Disney will have some reorganizational, shuffling of the deck. I'm not sure, but I would not expect to see John or Dave promoted to president. Now, creative head, as Dave already has, and then we could see John brought in some sort of official Lucasfilm title as well, like head of whatever, the studio, right? The studio head. But I think that's the kind of thing you're looking at. And Kathleen Kennedy, as she's operating now, is likely to stay in that role well beyond Q2 2025. It says at least, right? At least Q2 2025. I would expect that might go well beyond that, and just kind of rethink what you think her role is and what Dave's role is and what John is doing there. And we may see a little clearer picture of what the future of Lucasfilm from a organization or no organizational side looks like. It says, like me being a big football fan, at the very end of the day, if the team continues to keep failing, the general manager is eventually fired. Like it's not just dysfunction of the head coach. Yeah, we had the same thing. We had a new director of operations with the Columbus Blue Jackets hockey, NHL hockey team. Eventually, if you're not achieving the kind of success you're looking for in your organization, there has to be a change, if for no other reason than just to bring in a different strategy, right? Different blood, right? Is how they kind of put that. So you're not necessarily replacing equal terms either, right? You have somebody who may be an MVP, going to be in the Hall of Fame for production, right? Kathleen Kennedy is a Hall of Famer for sure. She's a lifetime Hall of Fame member, no question. No question. You may be replacing her with somebody who is not even like a Pro Bowler, right? You're maybe going from a Hall of Fame type leader to somebody that's not even like a Pro Bowler from a football fan, right? Yeah. I'm dying for is a Peter Safran, James Gunn type arrangement. Yes. Ben, you're on it. Find a good business person like Linwin, if that's what she is, to handle that stuff, and let Dave direction. Dave or John, right? Let them do that. Yes, you're absolutely on it, Ben. Kennedy's feeling is telling one story over multiple time periods using movies, TVs, video games, books, comics. It's one of the most impressive art projects in history. Aggressively relaxing, well put. Well put, my friend. Good job. As president and general manager of Lucasfilm business, Linwin oversees the division, including Lucasfilm, Industrial Light and Magic, and Skywalker Sound. Right? She is responsible for the development and execution of Lucasfilm's business strategy and implementation of the company vision. Linwin oversees Lucasfilm franchise groups, including marketing, integrated planning, games, publishing, consumer products, publicity, asset management, and content strategy. You see that last bit? And content strategy. Linwin is overseeing all of that, right? She also looks after Lucasfilm studio operations, including human resources, finances, including those things. Thank you. Thank you for that. All right. So enough about that. Let's get on to the thing that many of you may have come here for. Star Wars Outlaws is released. And you may know I'm not a gamer. We had Matt Cave Gaming in here earlier. KG, happy Friday to you. TGIF, my friend. Thank you for stopping in. So I thought what we would maybe do, and I saw Meg tried to do this, and I love Star Wars Meg. She's an absolute gift to this community. And, Meg and I, we disagree quite a bit on some things. We'll get in little feuds from time to time, spats, and it's okay. It's okay. And that's the way it should be. With friends, with people who enjoy things, we all have a little bit different tastes. We all have a little bit different preferences. And when we don't see eye to eye, we can have a little spat and we go on. But you know what? We still love each other and we're still friends. So I hope that that's one of the things modeled through this channel that all of you get to see. In fact, I was just chatting with Meg earlier today. So just so you know, Meg and I are still have a personal connection. We're still chatting on a regular basis. How Star Wars Outlaws. So Game Rant. How Star Wars Outlaw improves Ubisoft's open world formula. So I thought, well, let's take a look at these articles here, sort of one by one, and kind of get a sense for what they're saying. Because some of these are really good and some are not. And we'll just do the key takeaways here. We're not going to read all of these. It says Star Wars Outlaws offers a refreshing take on Ubisoft's open world model by avoiding a cluttered map. The game's map lacks an overwhelming number of icons, allowing for curiosity-driven exploration rather than chores. It looks weird when I'm looking away from it, but reading. Let me look this way. The optional locations remain truly optional in Star Wars Outlaws, encouraging players to explore at their own pace. So generally good here. Generally good. There we go. So there's one. Yeah, Star Wars Hunters looks like it's going to be pretty good. Kathleen Kennedy isn't a Disney person. Disney hire. For all the hate she gets, we have no clue who Disney may hire to replace her. Right? They may go outside Lucasfilm. Yeah, and I bring up Linwin for a reason, because I think when Kathleen Kennedy retires, whenever that may be well in the future, and Skywalker's Academy put her bio in the chat, so you can go up and read it. She's running things there. I mean, all over, right? The entire company. Look for Kathleen to step out and them to name Linwin as the interim president, or perhaps even sign her to a 3-year or 5-year contract as president. And following that, that would give Disney a chance to maybe reorganize Lucasfilm as a studio within the company and break the assets out and put different people over different parts. Anything is possible. They also could just hire completely externally, right? Well, has she been fired again or something? No, we're just going through the old news, KG. Nothing new here. So let's see. We got another one here. The Verge says, oops, I put this in the wrong place. Star Wars Outlaws is perfectly fine open world game set in an incredible universe. Well, perfectly fine doesn't like ring to me as like, this is great. You should go out and pay for it. Robert says, it wasn't Michelle Rejwan, the last heir apparent. She was. And insiders at Lucasfilm were reporting that she was going to be the next one. But I think Linwin is the person now. Yeah, Michelle Rejwan left Lucasfilm, and I'm pretty sure Linwin is the heir apparent. Just read her bio. And like I said, Skywalker's Academy put it in that there. If you go to Lucasfilm and look at their leadership, and you can find that's where Dave Filoni and all that's in there, right? You click on Linwin and read her bio, which Dale posted here, right? So Outlaws, perfectly fine. That's not a ringing endorsement to me. The first paragraph, Star Wars Outlaws isn't a game you play because you want to experience the most innovative open world. It's not full of ideas that will shake up the game genre, and its structure and gameplay can get pretty repetitive. In a lot of ways, it's standard stuff, run of the mill, right? But for a certain kind of player, none of that matters, because what makes Outlaws notable is the Star Wars part. It's an average open world game, but an incredible Star Wars simulator. That's a nice review. Pretty mid as far as games go, but there you have it. New York Times, what do they have to say? New York Times says, return of the Inui, whatever. Vast Galaxy is filled with well-worn concepts. It sounds, all of these are saying like there's nothing innovative here, right? Well-worn concepts, that's not innovative. From another open world games
Finding excitement requires descending to the game's black markets and gambling dens. Well, that's all I need to read there. They're like, okay, for somebody looking for a game to play, this is a game. You might want to play it. But nobody's saying, hey, you need to rush out and pay $100 for this thing, right? IGN, what's IGN got to say about it? IGN says, we've taken countless turns twirling lightsabers and flashing down to the booth where its holster clip unbuttoned, and argues that those are no match for a good blaster at your side. This open world, or rather open worlds, multiple, action game figures a level of gun battles and broken promises befitting the legend that is Chewbacca's best mate. However, Outlaws essentially delivers a Han Solo-like experience in good and bad ways. Has some handsome looks, a strong sense of adventure, but it's also somewhat scruffy around the edges and liable to let you down from time to time. Well, again, not a glowing review. So I've seen good and bad. Forbes, this will be the last one. Okay, the last one. Forbes says the good and lots of bad of Star Wars Outlaws. It says reviews have come in for Star Wars Outlaws, and while they've generally been good, I noticed a few were very, very bad. After playing the game for a while, I know which category I'm in, and I don't think I'm playing more as a result. There you have it. There you have it. Not exactly glowing, ringing endorsements. Yikes. Right? No, it's not 160. I think it's $70 for the base and like 100 for the gold, and it might be like 160 for like the platinum version or whatever. But what I've been hearing people say is buy the Ubisoft membership, like the monthly thing. It's like $17 a month, and for 18, 20 bucks a month, you can play it. You might play through part of it and then just drop it. Or if you love it, you may stay on for another month. But that's the most value you can get, is just paying that membership. Dale says, I just pulled up the site. 110. There you go. Yeah, I'll wait until they have a really good sale price. Right. They'll, when we get a little bit in and they've fixed some of the bugs. I've also seen some reporting about some of the bugs that are fairly substantial, requiring some players to completely start over their campaign. They may have been 2 or 3 hours into it, and now they put a patch in, and the patch requires you to start over. Yikes. Oh boy. Got some grumpy people about that. All right, next. And you guys know I've been reading the High Republic. The latest book just released, called Beware the Nameless by Zoraida Cordova. Zoraida, I would say, is not my favorite author. She's okay. Some of her stories are okay. She does more on a romance than a lot of others. And so this is not a book that I have very high expectations for, but it will help move the story forward. And the Nameless, for anybody that doesn't know, they're these like dog-like or monster-ish kind of characters. You see one in the background of the cover art here, and they feed off of the Force. And if you are a Force user, you are somebody who has been trained in the Force, you're powerful in the Force, it will feed all of that, right? And it turns them to dust, turns them to charcoal. Very, very fearsome kind of creatures. And Beware the Nameless is this book. I'll be starting it very soon. And this is something to, for those of us in the High Republic era, just to know. It just released this week. Also, and from a publishing standpoint, we have this comic series that's coming this fall. It's the Galactic Civil War is told at last. The final battle of the Galactic Civil War is here at last.
It's the Battle of Jakku. And you see there's 3 different series within it. The first, Insurgency Rising. I see a lot of Luke Skywalker in there. Republic Under Fire, and then The Last Stand. So this is the connection between the original trilogy and the sequels. Jakku, of course, the planet that Rey grew up on. And why does everybody want to go back to Jakku? You remember that? So this is going to tell a large part of that story. I'm looking forward to it. I'll be reading these as well. You know, I'm a sequels fan, so that's for me. I'm looking forward to that. KG, just listened to your interview with John Justice last night. Thank you. Thank you so much. Fitz, can't wait for the Battle of Jakku. I'm very excited about that. Very, very excited about that. So the story I've been dying to talk about, it's been on my mind this whole show, is this one here. And Meg got me really excited about this the other day when she covered this. Somebody translated these runes here, and there's a nice little poem. This poem then bears some interpretation. What does it mean? What's behind this poem? And Meg made some theories about it. And I don't know that I agree with some of her theories, but it's fun. This is one of the most fun kind of things, right? It says, 3 there were who made the journey, without whose knowledge there is no returning. A pathway connecting near and far, across the heavens, star to star. Despite great powers which do object, this secret way the 3 protect. So heed the path with a watchful eye, for if you wander, you will die. Oh, wow. This, you talk about Lord of the Rings. This is like J.R. Tolkien kind of poem. I love it to my core. I couldn't love something more than this. This is just fantastic. This poem is like fantastic. Wow. So let's talk about it a little bit. I've been dying to talk about this because it says the 3 there were who made the journey. So if you just take this part here on its own, 3 who made the journey. Who are the 3 that made the journey? And so Meg made some things about, well, maybe it's Ahsoka and Sabine and Ezra, right? No, it's not them. It's clearly, KG, it's clearly the Mortis gods, right? Because it says, despite great powers which do object, this secret way the 3 protect. So these 3 that made the journey are also protecting the secret way. That's clearly the Mortis gods. That's clearly the Father, the Daughter, and the Son. That's, to me, there's no question about who those 3 are. Those are clearly the Mortis gods. And we see those giant statues on Peridia. And so, the 3 who made the journey, without whose knowledge there is no returning. Oh, from the galaxy that's far away, from a long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, from that galaxy to Peridia galaxy is a long trip. Without whose knowledge there's no returning. Remember how they had to have precise measurements? And if you think about, if you've ever hiked or you've ever used a compass to get from point A to point B, if you are off by the slightest amount, your end trajectory will put you far away from where you intended to be. And the further away that point gets, You know, a lot of times we look up in the sky and we see a star in the sky. The stars we see, some of them are entire galaxies that we're looking at in the sky. Millions and millions of galaxies out there. And a lot of times, what we think is a star is an entire galaxy. Think about that. And if you were to take and put a pin on one of those galaxies and aim for it, and you miss by 0.0001%, how far off do you think you would be when you got there? You might be light years away, desperately far away, right? So it has to be, yeah, KG. If it don't twinkle, it's a planet, right? Some of those things are galaxies, though. So, you know, you could miss that entire galaxy by light years, tens or hundreds of light years. And this is, yeah, Dale at Skywalker's Academy. Yeah, far away, right? You miss it by a lot. So without whose knowledge, there is no returning. You have to have that pinpoint, right? A pathway connecting near and far. Remember, they found that. That's how they got to Peridia from the planet, and I can't remember the name of it, that was in this galaxy where Ahsoka visited the world between worlds when she fell off the cliff and all of that. That gave a pinpoint map, right? It was a pathway connecting near and far across the heavens, star to star. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Now, this part here, despite great powers which do object, what is that? So there's three who found the path, who their knowledge created the Malachor. Thank you, Astromech Jeremy. Thank you. Good to see you, my friend. I love, as Jeremy posted a picture, and I'm behind. You got to forgive me. And he's got this device on his chest. He's got his arm in a thing. Like he's well on his transition to become Lord Vader. One of these days, he'll no longer appear here as Astromech Jeremy. He'll appear as Lord Astromech Jeremy, Dark Lord of the Sith. He's he's becoming more and more Vader-like in his equipment that's attached to his body. So good. Yeah, so they made this. So what is this great power? We have three who made the journey, and they are protecting the path, right? Who are the powers that do object? This is great. What are those? Who are the powers that object to the three who are protecting the way and who made the path? Said, so heed the path with a watchful eye, for if you wander, you will die. Okay, so that's meaning like if you miss, you'll be way off in the middle of nowhere and you'll just die out there. This, I love this poem so much. It tells the story of Ahsoka and gives us a tremendous clue about where we're headed in season 2. Like what I did there? It gives us a tremendous clue to what's coming in season 2. We're building on the Mortis gods, right? We're absolutely building on the Mortis gods, and I am excited to see what Dave has in mind with this place. Let's see. Let's see. There was a comment here. Baymax, good to see you, Baymax. Says, does time in a galaxy with a larger central black hole move slower than another galaxy with a smaller central black hole? If so, a galaxy a long time ago could catch up to relatively with the theory of relativity, right? With the younger one. Oh, I like where you're going there. I like where you're going there, Baymax. Using the theory of relativity to mean that they're aging at different speeds. And the one that was a long, long time ago may be aging much, much slower than the one that's now. And so when it catches up, yeah, it's more at the same time. Or maybe I've got it backwards. I don't. Very good. Balin brought up miscalculation when they were at the Stonehenge place, right? Yes, you can't miscalculate that at all. You cannot. The Empire, the witches, the powers that be, Skywalker's Academy. Yeah, it's good. This is that is Star Wars scripture. Santa loves scripture. I do like, yeah. I'm excited because there's so much potential with all of this stuff. I am too. The broken record. I think this Peridia galaxy sets up such a great opportunity for the future of Star Wars. It's exciting what they could do there with the Zeppo, whatever, right? Those who are in the EU, the connections to the Zepho are very, very strong over there on Peridia. Right? We see them carved into some of the glyphs and things. And the stories that they can tell over there, and I lean into it maybe too much, right? Maybe I'm leaning in too much. But some of these live action stories that are rumored to be taking place at Lucasfilm, if you look at Dave and what he's doing with the Mandoverse with John, and Dave created Peridia, that galaxy, once we get off of that planet, could be huge. The history they could tell there could be huge. That place could go on. They could tell stories there that are not at all constrained by the events of the galaxy we know. They're not worried about the Knights of the Old Republic, Revan. They're not worried about the High Republic era or Palpatine. They're not worried about our good friend Darth Plagueis the Wise. None of that has any impact whatsoever on what's going on over in Peridia. And they could tell everything. Yeah. Jeremy says, yeah, this little poem clue got me hyped. Me too. Love a little Indiana Jones feel with the clues mixed in with our Mortis God arc could lead to other storylines that don't conflict with the current canon. Couldn't say it better myself. Absolutely agree. I'm over the moon on this. I am so excited. And I hope that when we get some of these announcements about the live action projects, that maybe they'll be set over there in Peridia and we'll get some history. I know the downside of that, I think it was Ben, maybe it was Matt Cave. We're going to get more witches guaranteed. If we're sitting over there, we get the history of that whole empire that the witches had built. But you also get the Zepho, and you get a lot of other lore tied to the Mortis gods. And what do you think they're going to do with what's her name? The mother. Let's see. We got the father, son, the daughter, the mother with the tentacle fingers. You guys are going to get it before me. Abeloth. That's it, Jeremy. Thank you. Are they going to bring Abeloth in? Is she going to be part of the Peridia story? We're going through the Fate of the Jedi series on Patreon. And we're in the middle of book, I think it's book 3. Yeah, we're in the middle of Abyss. We're about to finish it up and get into the 4th book. There's 9 and books in that series. And that series it establishes Abeloth, a lot of the lore behind Abeloth, who she is and how she became who she is, her tie to the Mortis gods. All of that is through this series, The Fate of the Jedi. So if you join us over on Patreon, you can follow us in that journey. Or if I'm moving way too slow for you, go check out your public library. You can get these books there. You can get the audio books. You can get in fact, I have an audio book from the public library where I'm listening to these as well. You can get them on Kindle. You can order these books and you can learn the EU, the legends side of Abeloth and maybe inform, what do you think? Are they setting up Abeloth to be one of these great powers that do object? I don't know. I don't know. What do you think? What about Sigourney Weaver? What are they bringing Sigourney Weaver in a meaningful way? I don't know. I'm excited about learning what role Sigourney did an interview on a press junket and said that she was filming some stuff for the Mando Grogu movie. Who is she playing? What's she going to be doing? I'm excited to learn more. Sigourney Weaver is just a fan favorite, and I think she could be fantastic for this franchise. But I'm also wondering if she's going to be a cameo kind of role. Oh, Nora Huxley. Interesting. Will she be a good guy or bad guy? I was chatting with Jason Ward and Star Wars Meg this morning, and I posted 2 pictures here. Let me put these up here. Because I've still got this up here. Let me share this so you guys can see what I did. We were being funny, okay? You guys, first of all, take this as it's intended, right? This is intended to just be fun, right? We're playing here, right? So Sigourney Weaver, Pelimoto, Sigourney Weaver. Don't they look like there's like older sister, younger sister kind of thing? Don't they look like they could be like co-workers? She's gonna be hanging out with Pelimoto there, I think. No, probably not. But it could be. I'm just having fun, you guys. I don't know what I don't know who she's gonna be playing, but I'm excited about it. I'm really looking forward to it. Maybe replacing Carl Weathers as the Magistrate of Navarro. That'd be cool. That'd be really cool. She has the gravitas. She has the acting chops to absolutely. They better not Christopher Lloyd her. They might. That's my point. Like, we don't know. She made just some minor cameo kind of role. We don't know she's going to have any kind of significance, especially moving forward. Think about it. Is Sigourney Weaver going to commit to being in future movies with Star Wars, or is this a one and done kind of situation? You know, it's a good question. Ben says, I'll hedge my bets and bet he's going to eventually bring her into the fold, meaning Abeloth, because Dave is willing to kind of go bold with Force ideas. Look at what the world between worlds. Just think, Abeloth is bold. It would be bold, but I don't know about it. Personally, I think he will not. However, will he bring in some other elements? Perhaps. We'll see. Yeah, would Sigourney Weaver be brought into a streaming show? Yeah. Daniel Craig from Force Awakens. Exactly. Pelimoto, Sigourney Weaver, and Richard Simmons. Power hair trio. Rest in peace, Richard Simmons. Right. Maybe she's a bounty hunter on one of Din's adversaries. That'd be cool. All right. It could be any number of things. We don't know. But boy, it's fun to think about. And, you know, you guys, hopefully I've shared enough to let you know there's a lot to be excited about as a Star Wars fan. I mentioned at the top of the show, as a Disney Lucasfilm era Star Wars, I'm a fan. I've had more fun, and I've just enjoyed covering all the shows, watching the shows. Things I don't like, but I let them go. I don't focus and dwell on them. I'm like, oh, that was terrible. I know my friend Baymax is here in the chat, so I'll bring it up. The Power One, Power Two, Power of Many song was terrible. Absolutely terrible. Right? I hate so much of it. Right? It was performed poorly. So many bad choices there. Innumerous bad choices made there. But it didn't ruin the entire show for me. It's the very end of one episode. I can let it go. Move on. All right, and just take the rest of the show for what the rest of the show is. The whole thing with the shipping, right? I'm not a big fan of that. I told you guys, but I don't let it ruin the whole show. There are parts of the show I absolutely love. And there's the I was chatting with Meg about Mando season 3 when you get Lizzo and Jack Black. The vast majority of that episode is fantastic. Are there terrible moments? Absolutely. Parts of that episode, yuck, I don't like. But the vast majority of the episode is great. I love it. It's good. No reason to throw out the baby with the bathwater, you know? It's good. I just, the stuff I don't like, I just kind of acknowledge and move on. Jeremy, I saw Jeremy get into a little discussion of this as well on Twitter, and I agreed with him entirely. This is the pop song at the end of the episode. Yuck, right? But we let it go. Right. And yeah, there's nothing wrong with acknowledging the things you don't like. And you get back to that Amandla thing. You know, Amandla, her experience is her experience. And she's expressing her frustration with folks who caused her turmoil and caused her unhappiness, caused her anxiety. And her perception of that is her perception of that. But you know what? Doesn't mean she hates all Star Wars fans. Doesn't mean she even hates all Republican Star Wars fans or conservative Star Wars fans. She's not saying that all of these people who are criticizing the Acolyte are terrible people. She's not saying any of that. She's saying that she experienced some very negative things from a certain group of people. All right. There's a lot of emotion that comes out of these when you've invested so much in it. And I mentioned this in my interview with John Justice yesterday. Said, nobody is working on Star Wars to upset you. Nobody is trying to make bad Star Wars. All of these people are doing their best. They're working hard. All of these people are doing everything to make the best thing they can make. And they're passionate about it. And I can understand Amanda being so excited, enthusiastic, and happy about what she got to do with that series and what she was able to do with Leslie Headland. And how much joy she has in her life from that experience and how much passion she has in that show. I can understand all of it. To suffer some disappointment, some grief from the loss, let people express that, right? Let them get over it. And we can all move on together on the other side, right? Give people a little room to grieve. Ben says, I responded to somebody the other day who was giving pretty much a resume for an opinion. And I responded, you don't have to list a fan resume to give your opinion on shows. Well, good point. Good point. Amanda's acting in Nothing story around the twins ruined the Acolyte. Well, for you. Ruined it for you. Right? The Power of Many song was just another moment that pushed me over the edge. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Perfect. Mean people. That's it. No other affiliation needs to be assigned other than mean people. A lesson is don't be mean. Amen. Amen, Jeremy. This is she even learned some Star Wars fans, some Star Wars tunes on the violin. Yes, she did. Yes, she's a Star Wars fan herself, and so is Leslie. Like nobody tried to set out to make you mad. Even with the quote that's taken from Rian Johnson in, dividing fandom, making people blah, 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 right? None of that was, Rian Johnson didn't make Last Jedi to intentionally make you mad. He tried to make a really good Star Wars movie, and some people like it, and some people didn't, right? I don't even know the Ep had a pop song during the credits because it turned it off, right? Not because of dissatisfaction, just because of my own anxious viewing habits. Same, Robert, Rob. I'm the same. I get to the end and the credits start rolling. I just back out. I'm done. All right. So there you go. Hopefully, you guys, kind of see how we can have different opinions on things. We can have our own tastes and complain and bicker, but at the end of the day, we're still Star Wars fans and we love what we love. So, cling on to those things. And this weekend here in the States, I know many of you are overseas, but over in Europe and different places of the world. This weekend is Labor Day weekend. We get a 3-day weekend with our family, get some time off work. I hope everybody has a fantastic 3-day weekend. You're able to spend some quality time with people that matter in your lives, because there's enough terrible things going on in the world. I think of Ukraine and what's going on in the Middle East. Just absolute terrible, terrible things going on in the world. And hopefully all of us, you and me, we can make the world a little bit better place by showing a little compassion to others. People who disagree with you, show some compassion. Right? That's all. It'll go a long way. It'll go a long, long way to making this world a better place. Mike Porter dad joke. What do you get? What do you call a perfect companion for a bounty hunter? Bounty hunters need companions too. What would a bounty hunter's companion be? Well, it'd be a Boba Pet. Boba Pet. Mike Porter. Thank you for that very good dad joke today. This is a wonderful weekend to catch some Lord of the Rings, spend some time, cook out on the grill, hang out with your friends. And I can't wait to come talk to Star Wars with you again next time. Guys, have a fantastic day, a wonderful weekend. And until next time, Merry Christmas, and may the Force be with you always. Bye-bye.